my simple starter today, I'm going to do some oysters with 2 separate dressings. We've got a sesame and passion fruit one and a Bloody Mary one, so a bit of a twist on the classic. Just
so you've got oysters and passion already in the first course. It's amazing.
Yes, yeah.
My simple starter is, on the outset, it doesn't look that simple, but it's more about the preparation and getting things done beforehand, so it's just a sort of a finishing job, really. So I'm doing a really nice asparagus risotto, but also in that's going to be some lovely peas, some broad beans, some spring onions, quite a nice kind of light, refreshing dish.
Mark is kicking off with his risotto rice, and he has an unconventional way of cooking it.
The key thing to this is, with my risotto rice, a little tip is I blanch it first and chill it in the fridge, just in boiling salted water, for around about 5 to 6 minutes. And then what that does is it kind of... well, it does 2 things. Obviously, it takes some of the starch out of the rice, which I prefer, because sometimes risottos can be really, really gloopy and stodgy. And I prefer to sort of thicken mine up with a little bit of butter and parmesan at the end, just to sort of bring it together. But also, when you come to finish it off, it actually speeds up the cooking time, because your rice is half cooked already.
Yeah, because that's the thing, you don't want to be standing necessarily having a special meal for 2, stirring at the stove for 20 minutes,
as we all know.
Once it's boiled for 5 minutes, Mark drains his risotto rice and transfers it to a tray to cool down. He then adds asparagus, frozen peas and broad beans to a pan of salted boiling water.
So they've just gone into hot water now, because the asparagus as well, you want it slightly al dente still, with a little bit of bite, because you are going to keep cooking it in the risotto.
After a couple of minutes, Mark drains the veg, retaining the cooking liquid to use as the stock base for his risotto.
So we've got our vegetables there, and now obviously we want to slow the cooking process down. So we're just going to refresh those in ice water. Our rice has cooled down nicely now, so I'm going to swap that into the fridge just to let it go nice and cold.
It's exhausting watching all this.
It's all that stuff you can do in the morning with a nice little cup of coffee. Take the time. And if you see here now, the rice is sort of fluffed up a little bit. If you try a couple of grains of that rice, it'll still have a touch of a bite to it. You can see it's halfway there. So I have some shallots, as always, a nice warm pan, and we're going to put in some slices of garlic. Someone once told me the finer you slice garlic and crush it, the stronger it gets. So if you actually sort of cook it in big slices, you still get that lovely garlic flavour.
Nice flavour, but not too overpowering.
Yeah, exactly. So a little bit of butter and a touch of olive oil as well.
Now your night has started, so you've got all your preparation done.
This is the beginning of my night now, I've chilled out, I've got all my stuff ready, I've got everything done, and now my...
You've got your lady waiting.
Having a nice little glass of champagne. So the garlic goes in just to soften slightly with the shallots.
OK.
We don't want to put any colour on this at all, OK? So just nicely softened. You just want to extract the sweetness from the shallots and obviously that lovely flavour from the garlic. You can smell it, it's really nice.
So you get that nice clean look after.
Absolutely, yeah. You don't want any little black speckles in there. Touch of white wine. Now, if you were making a proper risotto, you would add your raw rice into here now, coat it in all the butter and everything, and then you would add your wine and let it have a juice, but we're going to do it the other way around.
Mark adds a good splash of white wine to the garlic and shallots and leaves to reduce. With the base of his risotto done, Jo makes a start on her simple starter with the first dressing for her oysters.
For this one, I'm going to do some passion fruit. So I've got 2 really lovely ripe passion fruit. So just scrape out the seeds. And then this can be done in the morning. You don't have to do this at the last minute.
Oysters, asparagus, these are things of passion.
They are.
And
they're aphrodisiacs. Whether it's a proven fact, there's loads of schools of thought behind all of that. Lime, I've just rolled the lime just to try and make sure it's really, really soft. Yeah. Because that's a good way of making sure you extract as much juice as possible.
It just smells amazing, doesn't it?
Lovely,
it really
isn't it?
Love it, yeah.
And I'm going to grate the zest.
And a great idea with oysters, because it's quite a sharp thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, you know, oysters are very sort of rich and salty, aren't they? So you need something sharp to cut through them.
I love oysters with just a squeeze of lemon juice on them, but that'll be a bit too simple for this, I think, wouldn't it? I don't think the judges would appreciate that. No. So zest in, let's get the lime juice as well. And then sesame oil.
Love it.
So, equivalent of about 4 teaspoons.
That's one of my favourite ingredients, I have to say.
Pinch of salt. I mean, the oysters will be naturally salty, but it still needs it just to add that kick. And then you just give it a good mix and let it infuse for as long as you want to. You can use it straight away.
A little smell. You've got some... Oh, it smells incredible. You've got some powerful flavours in there, though. Do you not think that'll sort of detract a little bit from the freshness of the oyster?
You only need a small amount, really, on that oyster. So there's obviously loads and loads here. It's for taste. I love it. So it's got a real bite to it. And then the other one is sort of based around the Bloody Mary drink.
OK.
So I've got some vodka. Always a good way to start a meal. A little drink. Just add some really rich tomato puree in there. Celery salt.
Lovely.
I love celery salt, so that's often quite... I'm a bit generous with that. Splash of Worcester sauce. So
you've got it all going on, Jo. You've got oysters, you've got passion fruit, you've got booze in your starter. I mean, this is...
I'm being quite...
It's a surefire night, isn't it, by the sounds of it?
Jo finishes her Bloody Mary dressing with a squeeze of lemon and a dash of Tabasco sauce.
So that's it. There's my 2 dressings. Good to go. On to the oysters.
Brilliant.
Mark is convinced his shortcut asparagus risotto is just what the judges are looking for. But Jo is confident her luxurious oysters are both simple and romantic. Which simple starter will the judges decide is perfect?